Hello everyone. In previous session, I have shown you how to create a shop-based web service. Today's session, what I will do, I will integrate the service layer which I have in the REST service. In this total video session, if you have gone and seen the REST API, I have integrated a service layer which is talking to the backend and fetching the records from the backend and creating the records in the backend. That particular service layer will get integrated with a SOAP interface or SOAP API, you can say, right? So I will do it today, and I will show you. I've already done. I will just show you the integration part. I will not code or not. I will do it. So I will show you the kind of integration part, and I will deploy the same thing and test it. See, there is nothing to code now. Just merging the service layer with the your SOAP interface or SOAP endpoint. From endpoint you call the service layer, and it send the request to the service layer. The service layer will send the request to the data access object layer, and data access object layer will it will perform the CRUD operation or CURD operation, that is card or CRUD operation, right? So here, let's go and see it, how it happens. Let me share my screen. And microservice, when you create a microservice, you all might be knowing what is microservice and microservice architecture. When you create a microservice architecture, or it is, follow the microservice architecture, you can always use SOAP-based web services, or you can always use REST API. It depends on you what kind of web service you're creating and how you're following it. Right? So my screen is shared. This is the project which I was showing you yesterday. See here in the main method, the same thing what I have done in the rest, I have the same thing here. And if I go to the endpoint, you know, just I will compare these two classes and show you what are the changes actually happened to come to this point. These are the two changes, these are the two places where I need to change endpoint and main class, right? So let go to the online text editor, compare text editor. I will compare it from the REST API and the end. Online test compare tool, right? Let's open an online test compare tool. I'll put this both the main method of the REST API and SOAP, and I will also put, there is an offline tool called Beyond Compare, which I used to use when I was working. Beyond Compare, it has a very good features. You can compare the test, and you can also merge the test. Beyond Compare is a nice tool. Now online is available, so I have not installed any tool here. I'll just fetch and show you. See, this is the main class which I'm fetching it from the our shop web services. I'll put it in the here. I'll put it here, right? And now I will get the other main method from the REST. This is personal information REST update. Yeah, that is the last, final piece of code which is there in Git. I will open that project here in Eclipse and fetch that code. Now sometimes this Eclipse gets stuck. See, all service layer, DO layer, all other are as it is. I have not done any changes. I just integrated, this endpoint with service layer. That's what I'm going to show you now. I'm doing the comparison. You will be able to easily understand how actually it works. How easy in creating a shop service, and if you have all the artifacts with you, all the code bases, how easy you can just jumble with the code, and you can create another uh, artifacts for you. It's so easy. Let's go to the browser. I've copied this piece of code. I am trying to put it here, right? Now I will do the compare. See, if you see here in the left side, there is no REST controller. In the REST API, there is REST controller. That is the only difference, right? That is the only difference. And another difference you will see in entity scan, little bit maximize. I will do it. Yeah, no, REST control is the one difference. Another difference you will see in the entity scan, that is line number 15 here in the left side, and line number, no, that is 19 in the right side. This line, basically, if you see this, let's say it is line number 19, here and there. So if you see entities can com.example.satya.db.vo, right? Com.example.satya.vo. See here, just I did a package structure for all entity object, added a db.vo, because web service is also having a package structure, right? Web service is also having person and address, and entity is also having person and address. To keep same, both of them independent, I have not merged them. I kept DB view different. I kept web service view different. But still, you can merge them. There is no issue. You can always merge them. But while merging, you should have appropriate entities. What web service views are having at the rate for annotations. That same web service annotation should be present in entity annotation. That means both entity and web service annotations are together, should be present in that person class and address class, to identify that this is an Jaxby created object, as well as this is also used for entity, database. But since in case of microservice architecture, and if you want to keep your component independent, loosely coupled with other entities or other artifacts, always you need to have a separate entities, right? So that's how I have done it here. Component scan, base packages, same component, everything is same. Only I have removed the REST control from the Spring Web Services, right? SOAP based web services, because it is not a REST control, it's going to be SOAP based web services. And if you see below, everything is same. I have removed this get mapping REST control from the SOAP based services, because I don't need main method, whatever they are, Spring application dot run main class, here also it is same. In and this Spring main class, this class extends Spring Boot server to initializer. This I am doing to make it deployable in Tomcat, right? So that is the reason I have added that, and that thing is still there. There is no difference if you compare both the main methods. Only the REST control is removed and the entity scan package is changed. I told you what is the reason. Now let's go to the your personal information endpoint. See, this is the endpoint class. I will take this endpoint class and put it on the same here. Okay, now I have to refresh this page to put some other. Oh, your clear was there. I missed it. So this I put it here, right? And I will get the uh, same REST endpoint from the personal information API. I'll get the REST endpoint from here. See, here you'll find lots of differences. The reason behind that, get person request, create person request, get person response, create person response, these classes, line number 13 to 16 on the left side, are only available in web service. These are not available in REST API, right? So if you see the annotation, here it is endpoint and configuration in the SOAP-based web services, and in REST API, it is REST controller and configuration, right? That is the only difference. And coming down, same person service auto add, person service auto add. Here you have gate mapping. Here you have in line number 28, if you see it is payload. In line number 35, if you see on the right side, it is gate mapping, right? So that is how there is a small difference. There is nothing much. So this is how. And what I did, I just removed the, if I just, if you see on the left hand side, line number uh, line number, where is that line number, this 40, this one, yes, 45. Here I'm calling person service get person. Here in line number left hand side, in line number 39. Person service get person. Same, right? Same thing, same method. There is no changes. Here in this we are using object mapper to convert Pojo object to JSON string and returning back. Here we don't need, payload will handle it. And here what I did, I just had another utility method the way I to convert web service object to entity or database object. Otherwise, web service object if I pass directly to the service layer, the person web service object, it won't get persist because annotations are not available there, mappings are not there, right? So that's how we need to convert web service person object to entity person object. I'll show it in the Eclipse. So I'm closing these two classes now from REST API. See, so here I will just show you what I have done. That utility. I have written a value object conversion utility where convert DB to Webservice view. When I'm fetching from the database, I'll fetch the entity object and sending back it to the SOAP-based or to the response. Always I need a web service person object, not the entity person object. So one method is for converting entity person to web service person, and one method is for converting web service person to entity person. That is the only thing new thing I've written here. Other than that, there is nothing changed. All this integration happened, smoothly without any problem. See here, this line number 42, if you see, line number 39, here, person service dot get person, right? So here get person is calling swap your service layer using entity object. This is the entity object, person object, right? This person object is the entity object, and person object we are setting the person ID because get person biography method will take the string and go to the database. That is the person ID DO layer, service layer, DO layer, and fetch the person information based on the person ID. And once it fetches the person information based on the person object, this person object will be entity object. So now what I have to do? I have to convert this person object. See, and if you see line number here in 44, I am creating a get person response object, and in line number 45, converting the entity object to your web service object, and then setting it to the get person response dot set person and returning back it as get person response, right? If you see here in this get person biography, no, this is create person, right? Okay, so see, it doesn't matter, as I said yesterday, it doesn't matter if your method name is same or different. Always it matter what you have in the local part, right? That will be always based on that the request will come. Let's see, now person method name is get person biography. I'm not going to change, but I will create a record in front of you and then I will change this method, right? So see, here also the same thing. Here what I'm getting a view object, that is web service object. You see fully qualified name of the package I've written here, person object, right? So what I'm getting here, I'm getting here the web service object person, right, to persist in database. And then using this conversion detail in line number 61, I'm converting it to DB view person. And then sending this to create person method, person service can create person method in line number 63. 64, and then getting back the ID, setting it the create person response and set person ID, and returning back the create person response. So this is what the changes. There is no other changes. The same code from the service layer, data access layer. I just brought it from that REST API update and pasted it here. And pasted uh, in this project SpringBoot swap project. So that's how I'm going to push this code. You can watch it. You can, differentiate it. I'm just going to push this code in few minutes, and I will push this code with to the same project. No need of having another project. I'll push this code to the same project. You can always watch my previous video and see what was done, how was done, and if you want to go follow that same structure, you can follow. You can follow my first video and see the coding, and you can write the code, and you can continue there. Let's go and run this class, and I will show you how it works. First, I will go through the main method. I will run this jar thing in Eclipse, and then I will create a var out of it and deploy it in the Tomcat. See, I'm not a developer. I'm doing this based on request from some engineering students, as some freshers those who joined, some companies last year. So they requested me, Satya, can you let us know some basic information about Java? Then they told we saw though we have not started working, but we don't know what will work. But always learning programming language is good. So I'm sharing this on video based on my past experience as a developer, as a module lead, as a tech lead, as a consultant, as an architect, as an engineering leader or engineering manager, and as an engineering leader, I whatever knowledge I have technically, practical knowledge, I'm delivering it on this YouTube session. You can watch. I'm still applying for a job. Let's see how long it takes for me to get a job. Almost it is, I'm looking for a job from 2021 till date, that is May 2025, for a engineering manager position, senior engineering manager position, that is into engineering leadership role. No one is calling me for interview, but anyway, I'm sharing these lessons. You all learn it from there, and I will I will share one more video, that is Spring Soap based client. How to write a Spring client like REST client, and how you can uh, use Java code to fetch information from the server. So this is a service, SOAP server we have written, that is service layer. We will write also consumer part, who is going to consume this service. That will be the last video for this Java full stack development. And after that, if something comes to my mind, I will upload. Otherwise, that will be the last for this Java full stack development. Then I will upload something into leadership, managerial, some other artifacts if I feel, and maybe something into cloud. So here it is, the server started. If you see in Eclipse, the server started, right? Next is Eclipse console. Let me go to the SOAP UI. I'm using this my wife's ID. So let me hit it. See, you got a response out of this. This is a raw response, HTTP 1.1 200. 200 is a successful response, and this kind of response is always called raw. Now you go to the XML tab here, click on XML tab, it will give you the output, right? It will give you the output. Now we'll create a record here. See, already I have filled something here, so fast, so middle, so last, 30 mail, this is rapid. I have put it here. Let me do send a request here. So person ID is empty, address ID is empty because the person ID, address ID not required to be filled, right? Because it will be auto generated. Let me send the request. We got a response. Let me go to this is a raw response. Raw response will be always like this. Let me click on this. See, this is what I got this ID. Let me take this ID to get person, and I will go to database also. Put it in get person and get the person. See, again we got the raw response. I don't know why this XML term is always going off. See here, whatever I have put, I got that same response, right? The address ID is 38, all these, response shop city, shop county, shop state. I have put something here, right? Let me, for your confirmation, I'll change something the PIN number. I'll make it something 81, you know, let's say I will put my birth year 1981 and I'll put my wife's birth year 1986, right? 1981, 1986. So now I will send the request. You got the response, record got created. Let's take this ID. This is 89 ID. Okay. Go to the get person and let's send this. You got the response. See, 1981, 1986. That means not hard coded, right? So it is directly connected to DB. So let me go to database and show you that also. You people will be more, get confirmed. No, Tomcat not now. Let me go to the MySQL bundle, MySQL bin, this here, CMD, here, my SQL, can user, root, password, net. Sample DB. Let's start from person. Person ID equal to. Okay, got it. This is what we are getting, right? 89 the person ID, that is what we got in SOAP UI also. See, person ID, right? The same ID. And address ID is also same, right? Interesting. Address ID is also same because same time it got generated, right? We're using timestamp to generate the ID. Timestamp like same milliseconds. If it is same millisecond, the ID will be same for some of the time. Now, what I will do, I'll go to the database again and fetch based on the address ID. Select star from address here, address ID equal to see same, and let's see the pin number. Where is the pin? Yes, pin zip code 1981, 1986. That is what 1981 is my birth year, 1986 is my wife's birth year. So this is how your jar file works, right? Through Eclipse, you can do the same thing from the console also. My POM is well configured to run it from the Windows prompt, Windows console or from the Linux console. You can always go to Windows console and Linux console. You can always type Java hyphen jar and the jar. It will start the application. Right. Now let's go back to the Eclipse and stop the Eclipse. I'll stop it. I'll go and do a Maven build now from the command prompt. I want to make it a war. You can run it from the Eclipse also, but let me run it from here. Jar is basically Java archive, var is web archive or web application archive. You can always, in Java, when you talk with Java language, we always say it as var jar. We never say it has what it is saying. Uh, Lifecycle phase install remote specify valid lifecycle phase. Oh, spelling is wrong. INTSAL install INSTL, right? So that's how it is. Mhm. See, first, as I said, you can use same person object for entity. So how you will do that? You generate the person object and address object using XSC, using Maven compile, and then comment out that XSC. Don't generate it again and again until unless your XSD code is not changing. Okay? So in that person object and data sources which got generated from this Jackspace tool, you add Hibernate annotation to it, and it will work for both web service as well as for your entity object. But there will be some issue in some cases when you have mapping relationship, one to many and many to one. Sometime you might get some issues, so you have to be very careful. So here, this war will be created. Let's go and see Spring Boot sub project. Yes, target. Yes, war is created just now. Yes, time is just now. So let me take to the Tomcat. Right. Let me go to the Tomcat now. And you see in Apache Tomcat, that same Tomcat I'm using 11 version web app folder. I'll put this. So what I will do. I will take all other existing where to make it faster. Now going to Tomcat bin folder. I'll start the Tomcat. And I will show you WSDL here. In That application I have not shown you, but I will say I will run that Eclipse application again. Let me run and show the WSL from the Eclipse application again, and then I'll go to this. I have changed the port number. I kept the same port number. What port number yesterday I had that same port number, and then let the application start. I will show you the WSDL, and then I will go to the Tomcat, start the Tomcat, and show you the WSDL from the Tomcat. I can start the Tomcat parallelly. It won't create any trouble because port number are different. Let's go here. HTTP. Yes. Tomcat is not started in Eclipse. It's still running. The important thing when you're creating a software step series, first try to see if your WSDL is getting loaded. If your WSDL is getting loaded, that means your configuration is proper at the time. And as I said to you all, now you see I did a request for create person, but the method name is get person by. What is that method name? Get person by biography, right? Still then it got created. You know, Still then it got, still then it got created, still then it created the record here. How? Because of create person request. It is always, it will always identify the namespace and the local part. Based on that, it will go and invoke the operation. It will go and invoke the operation, right? So here now I'll change this method name to create person. Now hit the WST server started. See, it automatically got refresh also. The WSDL is here already, right? See, here it is create person request, create person response, right? This is the message, and what is the operation here? Create person. That's how whatever the operation you have, that operation will get created in SOAP UI. That method will be created in that particular name. Create person is the method. That is the operation. Get person is the method. That is the operation. That's how it got created. And when you send a request, it will always go and in the top you will have XML namespace VO. This is vo.satya.example.com. This is the URL or target namespace. It will always try to identify this target namespace and the local part, that is create person request, in your endpoint. And if it is able to identify this namespace and local part, it will invoke that method, process the, it will do the processing. After processing or invoking service layer or other or whatever the instruction are given in the particular method, it will execute that and then send us back the response. So you saw the WSDL. See here it is services and then person service.wstl in the URL. Localhost colon 24081 services person the WSDL.wstl. But when you're going for Tomcat, along with servlet context, we will have the application context. So now we'll go for the Tomcat. Let's see. I'll start the Tomcat. I'm in the bin folder. Startup batch. Right. I'll go and stop this Eclipse Tomcat. So this Eclipse Tomcat I started. I've deployed the where I put the where on this particular place. In this project, just what I did, I copied the REST API update project content from service layer to data access layer into the sub project, and in person endpoint for the endpoint class, I annotated or I auto where the person service class and invoke the person service get person and create method. Right. So see here it is exploded, but still it is running Tomcat in behind. No, it has not started. Once it start, we will go and hit. Well, first we'll load the WSDL and then we'll go for the next. It's loading out. It's loading all mapping, all other stuff. It's loading, right? Yeah, person Leo. Yes, it's showing our log also from the aspect or from the logging aspect. No, when you are creating a project and along with its artifact, you have to be very careful with the event dependencies. If your one dependency is here and there, you will always get into trouble. Yeah, so it started. Tomcat is started. See, always your application will context will be the folder name or the that web archive file name or war file name, removing .war from that. Remove the extension. You can remove the extension and see now if I make my Tomcat port number is 8081, so I have given 8081. I have not added any application context. Now what it is saying HTTP status not found. Now I will add the application context here. I have added the application context. Now I'm going to edit. See, the WSL came up, right? Now it depends on you. You want to use sub version 1.1 or sub version 1.2.11 or 1.2. Yesterday I have shown you how to do that. So, or in the previous session I have shown you how to do that. You can always go and do that. See here now, get person is one operation, right? And the other operation is get person. Now, if you see what I did, I modified this create person method. See, now I will send the create request again. And here what I will do, I will, I will just 1981, 1986. I'll just add today's this year 2025, right, to this pin zip code to make a difference. Now I'll send the request. See here it is not sending the request. The reason behind that, here the context in here that service port number and context is different. I'll show you here how to create another project also using this wisdom. See, right click, new Shopify project. You can always edit this URL in the top, and you can always see it without creating a new project. Same project will work, but I will show you here how to create a project again. I'll make it uh, you know, web server, URL, right? And then click OK. See, it created same, right? So what I will do, rather writing everything here from, I will take that create person information from the uh, previous one, right, and put it in the this new project. And I will take the get person info, this request in the configuration or information from the previous project and keep it in this project. So let's hit this one first, right? Get the response or initialize the beans. So you got the response, right, from the Tomcat. See here, 88 is the port, 81 is the port number. Application context is there. Spring boot shop hyphen 0.0.1 hyphen snapshot service person service WSL, right? You have that thing. Now let's go to the create person. Now I'll create a person. I have modified this 1981, 1986, 2025. See, we got a response back. This is the ID. This ID I will take in database, and here also I will do. Before that, let's go to the Tomcat console. See, in Tomcat console, I have not shown you the Eclipse console, but you will see the same thing in the top Eclipse console also. See, these are the logs which is coming from logging aspects, right? After advice, before advice, after advice. All these loggings are there. This equal to equal to equal to equal to. This is first you see from before advice, right? And below you see from the after advice. After the execution of the code, after creation of the records, or after creating a person record, when coming out of the DO layer, it is, and when coming out of the, it is coming out of DO layer, it is coming out of service layer, it is coming out of the endpoint, right? So this is how you see. This is how, if you see the logging aspect, everything is integrated. I have not done anything big changes, small changes, all. So you should know how to integrate the product with existing code base, how you can reuse it. Reusability is very important in software development, and the reusability skill set is very important for a software engineer or software developer. Now let's go back to the database. Yes. So here I'll go first. I'll get the person one. See, same person, right? I got the person. Now I'll go to the shop UI and I will go back, go back to the shop UI. Yes. Send the get person request with that same ID so that I'll get the address ID. Or I can join query. I can write a join query to get the address ID also. Okay, Tomcat is paused here because I clicked here enter, right? See, now Tomcat, now you have got response from this software. You got this ID, address ID. Let's go to the database console. Now I'll go and put this address ID here. See, here 1981, 1981, 1986, 2025. I can write a single query to fetch both of them. Select star from person, star from person, and person P, and address A, where A dot person ID equal to A dot P dot person ID, right? Person ID A dot address ID equal to this. See, you got everything here, right? Person ID, first name, last name, this, everything. See, person ID is 61, first name this, last name this, shop middle, and again, this is the address ID, and you have the person ID, address line, everything you got it here, right? So, see, this is how you can do. You can run it on Tomcat also, you can run it on this thing also, right? Your Eclipse, you can run it as a Java archive file. You can run it as a WAR file. You can deploy it in external Tomcat. You can deploy it in internal Tomcat. This is how this project is. This is how I have created this project. In next session, what I will do, I will next session I will create the client application which will consume this service. This service will be running in Tomcat or maybe in external jar, and client application will read this service, get the information from the service, and show you. Coming session I will show you that. And here I think that is what I have here. And I will tell you one more thing about WS web service config, right? So see here, uh, I yesterday explained about you that about static WSDL, you can go with static WSDL, you can go with dynamic WSDL. And one more thing, when you are going with this dynamic WSDL, if you don't define, like in line number 52, it is I've written here SOP, create SOP to one to binding. If you don't define one to binding, it will be always one binding. And if you don't define this message factory, it is always create an default message factory with stop one on binding. But if you want to define one to binding, then you have to write, WSDL one definition dot set create stop one to binding and true. In this case, it will create, both one binding and one to binding WSDL. And for that, you need to also have message factory definition where you need to set the sub version one to one. Now, I have not uncommented this method, but what I did, I made sub version dot sub one, going with the default thing. Now, if you are using simple W1, W1, if you are using this method, right? If you are using simple this one, where you want to load a static WSDL, there by default it works with SOP 1 version. And if you want to make it So up to 1 2 version also it will, you need to configure the attribute properly. It's not that simple. It's not that like default WSL definition. Default WSL definition of Spring framework is providing you to create what kind of binding you want. But simple WSDL one definition is not providing you to create what kind of binding you want, what kind of sub binding you want. For that, you need to have little bit of configuration, and we can achieve sub 1 2 binding also through your this simple WSDL one definition. The message factory is not required. This message factory bin is not required if you are going with, this message factory bin is not required if you are going with default WSDL one definition. It will automatically bind. Spring has that auto configuration capabilities. So that is what there is nothing more changes, and same thing from the, if you see the research folder, same thing I brought from the old project log project XML, and person XSD person service.wsl was earlier, it was here. Application.properties, I brought it this properties from the REST API update project and added it here. Anyway, this were there in the project existing from the beginning, the debug and server.port, right? So that is the only changes I did. You go to the, I will show you the DO layer also now. There is no changes, for your confirmation. See, if you people are seeing, see there is no changes in DO layer. What is there in the previous project, it is there. You can always compare using some offline tool like Beyond Compare, or you can always compare with online tool. The REST, the project Spring annotation, REST API update in my Git with shop project, with I will show you here in my Git. Let's go to the Git. Right. With Git, if you go to my Git repositories, I'll go to the repositories. Now, if you go to the repositories, SpringBoot, swap WS project, and then then Spring annotation REST API update. You can always compare the service layer and the DO layer. There is no changes other than the package structure of person, other than the package structure of person object. That is, here I will show you, I have opened you. If you go to here import, you see here the yes, here it is. So you see this is the package structure com.example.satya.db.vo.person in REST API in the previous project, which is from the REST API, the REST API of the project will don't have DB. That is the only change, as I said in the beginning. There is no more change. You can accordingly go ahead and do it. So here today I will end this session here. Kindly go through these videos. If you want to learn, you can learn from it. Hello. It is nothing to do with uh, coding. It is nothing to do with your you know your skill set. The only thing is your mind, your intention, your priority. In this current world of technology, right? In this world of technology, you always have contents available on internet. If you have good mindset, if you are interested, if you are curious to learn, you can always learn whatever you want in this internet world. Only the thing is you have to get into a right place or authentic place where you will find the right information to learn. And one more thing, in this video sessions, whatever I've done for Java full stack development, starting from the beginning to till date, right? So if you see, it is covering almost all basic or more than basic information which a software company is expecting from a fresher software engineers or a developer, right? You can learn and you can grow. You can, if you are watching my video from the beginning to till date, definitely you will do better in your software development. And if you have any queries, any concerns, you want to learn something, or if you are not able to understand something, kindly mail me on my mail ID. Kindly mail me on my mail ID, and you can always comment on the video on that particular video, and you can always message me on LinkedIn, right? You can always message me on LinkedIn, and you can connect me. I will definitely help you all. This is my information. This is my mail ID, satyaa.sahu@gmail.com. This is the mail ID which I use for these video sessions or people those who want to learn. See, I'm not a trainer. That's why I'm not taking any training projects, or I'm not training anyone. It's just I'm creating videos based on the request and based on my interest to tell the world what is, how you can develop application in Java, right? And my LinkedIn URL is also here. It is my cell number is here. And anyway, if you're watching from my YouTube channel, this is my channel, right? So let's stop here. In coming session, I will show you the consumer part or client part of shop-based web service, and there I will, almost I will end my Java full stack development video sessions. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for watching my video. I will end the session here. See you in next session. Thank you everyone.